How far that was good.
My brother Adeayo, what's happening?
Everything is actually happening. Everything.
Actually, we're watching the drama unfold.
All right. So following that drama, right, that caused a lot of conversation online. So do you think Afrobeat artists are angry baiting customers for publicity? Is it clout chasing?
I think there's no way to look at it without exploring that angle. It's like that's what is kind of popular right now. You know, when you want to drop a song, you want to announce that you complete an album, and your number one recourse is to say something that will rile up the public. Yeah, we've gone from the days of having proper elaborate, at least for some artists, they've left the point of having proper elaborate rollout plans, how to roll out your album and stuff like that, at least for the Nigerian market. But with Afrobeats the world, that means they have two markets to service and some kind of like prioritize it. So the international market takes the priority and they have no clear cut chance. Sorry, they have no clear cut, strategy for the Nigerian market. So the with this lack of strategy, they just have to find a way to be in the conversation. Always find a way to be in the conversation, and that's where I say it. So, number one, the artists who are big, and they don't speak to Nigerian media very much anymore. There are some that don't even speak to Nigerian media anymore at all, right? So whenever they want to roll out their album, they want to drop something, they want to drop a song, the entire press run, publicity is focused US, UK, and a bit of Europe, right? Other European countries. So, but these same artists, they still understand that they need local buzz. You need the Nigerian audience to talk about you. You need to be in the conversation. And since you cannot tap into the media and use the media to create a conversation, to push a narrative, you have to find a way to do it yourself. And the resort to social media gimmicks. That's what I said. I said that they've tried to like get into conversation without maybe speaking to the media. So they need like mass attention. And one of the fastest ways to get mass attention is by saying things that would rile everyone up, call Donjazzy an influencer. Say I'm no longer doing Afrobeat. I make Bollywood music. I don't call me Afrobeat. If you like Afrobeat, don't listen to my music. Nigerian blogs, fuck all of you. Don't post my shit. You guys are lost souls, lost people. Go and travel the world and see for yourself. You guys are confused people. Things that you ask yourself, like, do you actually need to say any of those things? Do you need to say any of those things? And this is the point we are right now. So it's even when they go to international media to push their product, like to push their art, push their music, they still do things, say things that are sound bites that will cause controversy back home. Either it's Afrobeat lacks substance, or I don't make Afrobeat. Before me, Afrobeat lacks soul and depth and purpose. I'm the one that brought soul and life into Afrobeat. Things like that, you be like, why are you saying these things? Like, these people you're talking to, they don't even have context. They don't have context to these things. But you say to them because there will be no pushback. I don't think many of these guys will come to Nigeria and look, maybe see OC Swave in the eyes, maybe Kemi Smalls, Dotun, and look at them and say, before me, Afrobeat lacks soul and depth. And those one will not, they'll push back. They tell you, no, I don't think you, yeah, because they know, right? So I think I think it's popular now to say things that will wrap people up, to try to get mass reaction, and it works, right? It works, and as undesirable as it may be, because you like to think that, okay, this is repetitive, this is stale, it's becoming boring, but it consistently works because number one, you're the big artist. There's no way big artists will say something that will not make the news, even overseas, right? Kanye has been saying crazy shit for like over a decade now, and every time he does it, it still makes the news, right? So if a big artist says something, it makes the news, and it's hard for both the media and the consumers to ignore, because now the consumer wants to know what the big artists are up to. It's what the big artist says that they engage, they talk about, and that creates the conversation, the back and forth. And you as a media, you want to feed the consumers what they want, tap into that traffic. So that means you have to kind of like report what's going on and stuff like that. So we're kind of like lost in a situation that in a conversation that doesn't carry any benefit for the ecosystem, really, that beyond that only kind of benefits the artists who are cloud chasing, quote unquote. Yeah, cloud chasing, because that's what it is. It's just cloud chasing. It's not anything beyond cloud chasing. That's where I see it. You want attention. The easy way to get it is by saying things that will make everybody angry, and people will start that polarize the consumers and lead to social media back and forth. So yeah, so I think that's kind of what it is. What is getting more popular these days. Angry baiting consumers, saying things that will provoke reaction, saying things that will piss everybody off. Is the easiest way to get in the news and to create buzz for whatever you want to drop.
All right. So, following this angry baiting tactics here, do you think there is a disconnect between the industry today and what some of our stars are used to?
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't think it's I think it's kind of necessarily special. I think it's what is going to happen over time to everybody. When you were blowing up, when you were hot, the industry you are used to is different. It's always evolved. Things are always evolving. Not a lot of people can keep up. Not a lot of people can keep up, right? So, like for example, now let's look at the impact of TikTok alone, right? In music marketing, we have TikTok where when you drop a song, you need to create an entire dance routine and movement and gimmicks and sound bites to just push that song. Not a lot of artists can fit into that narrative. That fit into that way of pushing music, of scoring a hit song. Especially when you have created a personality, a mystique of I'm too cool for promotion. I mean, even though it was not necessarily ever true, but I'm too cool for promotion, too cool for school, I'm classy, I don't promote my stuff, I don't do adverts and stuff like that. Yeah, and now and now we get to the point where these things are either you do them or and you just hope that okay, something happens. Something happens and you cannot really fit it. And we're in the industry right now where there are a lot of buzzing superstars, like upcoming buzzing superstars. Like between 2020 till now, we've seen a lot of like new crop of superstars from Omali, to Ruga, Benson, Irasta, Rema, Joe Boy, Oxlade. Then there's Ashake, She Vibes. So Afrobeat right now, we have a lot of people fighting to be the face of Afrobeat. The attention is spread across a lot of artists. Not one person is the center of attention. So you need to, even as a big artist, you need to be able to compete with these guys at the level at which they are making music, the volume of music they are dropping, the way they are getting consumer attention. If you want the buzz they are getting, you need to be able to compete with them. A lot of people can do that. And when you can't do that, you find shortcuts, ways to stand out. And you start saying things like, I'm not an Afrobeat artist. Because now you're not the face of the movement. You have to queue behind some guys. And you don't have to queue behind some guys, and you have to disassociate yourself from the movement. When you are the face of the movement, you didn't know that you were not an Afrobeat artist. And so it's not, again, this conversation doesn't I think this, I'm not an Afrobeat artist, I don't make Afrobeat, it's kind of tiring. It's kind of still, it's becoming repetitive and will sound like a broken record. But I think one of the reasons why our artists are not aging gracefully is because I don't think they were prepared for the industry they are seeing now, for the level of young stars we're seeing now. Omale is making a song with Justin Bieber. Yeah. Is that big? Is that big? We have young guys that if you want to give them, if you're one of the biggest names, if you want to give them a verse, well and good. They are not going to lose sleep over it. Yeah. It's good that they have it, that, okay, I made song with the OG, but they're not going to be your DMs. I don't think they're going to be in your DMs. I think you need them more than they need you. You are still the big name. Your legacy is still intact. You're still one of the greatest of all time. But in terms of what's popping and what's not popping, there are some guys right now that they are the main guys. Ashake coughs on a record right now, and it's going to be a big deal. Right? So I think our artists are not, some artists are not understanding and they're not able to, come to terms with the particular level they are right now in the game. And that's one of the reasons they're not aging gracefully. And there are things you like to think, okay, you've gotten this out of your system at a very early age. When I see Rema going off on Twitter and just saying his mind and stuff, I like it. Not to sound hypocritical or not to sound because I like Rema. I do like it. I think it's 22, 23. He's a young guy. Let him get it off his system. Let him get this stuff off his chest. Say what you want to say now. Go crazy. So when you're 32, when you're 33, when we have a new generation looking up to you and you trying to where your opinion, what you say kind of really, really shapes your narrative, especially internationally, we want you to be able to hold you together and give us a more sober, a more mature perspective and not coming online and throwing back and forth insult like kids. So that's where I see it. I think it's I don't know if it's a midlife crisis, because you don't know what the stars are going through. The superstars, they're going through a lot in their head, and I'm not in their position, you're not in their position. Yeah, so I mean, it's just you have to find a way to handle it, because you represent something that is bigger than you. And if you don't recognize it, we recognize it, and we have to hold you responsible. So it's not a matter of, oh, you're not in this position, you cannot pass judgment. I'm not in this position, but his position is a critical one to the movement. And we have to like hold everybody responsible and tell them that, okay, you cannot do something to harm an entire movement. So yeah, I think that there's a lot of changes in the industry right now, and there are people who might not be able to come to terms with it. There are people who can come to terms with it, fit in, find ways to sustain their momentum by collaborating with the younger guys, drawing them close and stuff like that. And there are some who just cannot do that, and they have to resort to other means. So yeah, I do hope that the coming generation of stars do age gracefully than we're seeing now. And why it bothers me is because we kind of underestimate how feeble-minded. I don't want to say feeble-minded because that sounds quite disrespectful, but artists are thoroughly inspired by people they look up to easily. This whole Afrobeats, I don't make Afrobeat, I make Afro this, Afro that, wasn't a thing like 3 years ago. Wasn't a serious thing like 3 years ago. The reason it's a serious thing right now is because one of the biggest artists in Africa said it. The face of the continent internationally said it, and everyone felt, okay, this is what I need to do to sound special. And everybody just stole that part. And now we're saying, you're boxing me up. You like, bro, this is not a thing before. So you feel like it's a matter of time before one artist blows up and start shitting on the movement that propelled him there. So we do hope that artists are able to, to understand that the more you age, the more things change. And when things change, you have to come to terms with it and find a way to either evolve fitting, or, just accept your place and look for what's next in your career. So that's what I said.
All right. So now, what bearing do you think is this continuous repetitive antics? What do you think the impact will be in the industry?
That's where the issue is for me. That's the crux of the matter. What bearing does this whole stuff have for Afrobeats, right? When two of the biggest artists in the country are online trading insults, when you have some of the biggest artists in the country saying things like, I don't make Afrobeats. Afrobeat doesn't capture my sound. Afrobeat lack depth. Afrobeat lacks soul. Nigerians don't like my music. Don't appreciate my music. I feel my music is more appreciated internationally. Nigerians don't appreciate stuff like that. You have to ask, okay, how does this reflect on the industry? How does it reflect on the consumer? How does it reflect on the ecosystem? I don't think it reflects very well. I don't think it reflects very well. Now, if someone from outside Nigeria says things like, Afrobeat lacks substance, and I say, why do you say that? And I say, well, Burnaboy said it. To what extent can I fight him on that? I can try to make a case and say, okay, he's wrong. He's just saying it because he doesn't want to associate with the sound. But seeing that one of the biggest artists from the continent said it, it's a big reason for him to believe it. It's after all, Burnaboy said it. After all, Wizkid doesn't want to associate with Afrobeat. After all, Davido said Afrofusion is a better way to capture his sound because Afrobeat, they put everybody in the same boxes and that. After all, Fireboy said it makes Afro live. So it's we ask ourselves like, okay, is there, what impact does this kind of comment, what impact does this kind of behavior have on the ecosystem? And when I say artists they're easily influenced, it's because of what I see. It's because of what we see. 1-2 artists are fighting, the next thing we see like 5 more artists have their own separate fights and meaningless back and forth. We don't even know what's happening. 2 of you collaborated and dropped a banger in 2022, and you guys deferred the fight on 2024, and you guys start talking about I didn't get paid this money, he doesn't have this money. Like, come on, man, you guys have been in the game for over a decade, and this is what you want to be doing now. So it's like it doesn't inspire a lot of hope in the way things are aging. I don't want to be like a naysayer, or I don't want to start be pessimistic and stuff like that. But I think you need to, when the mainstream seems to not be clicking, it's going to affect the way people view the ecosystem. And that's why there's a lot of Afrobeat is not popping, we've not had a hit song, stuff like that. Because we've had more chorals, we have had more hits, tweets, and hits than hits. Yeah. Yes, because and it's like those who you look up to shape the narrative, they don't even seem to be abreast with their responsibility. They're not seeing that that whatever they do affect an entire movement. So it's not like it's just like there's almost like a cultural crisis. There's a lack of cultural commitment to the movement and to ourselves as a people. So again, I ask myself like, okay, hip hop influenced Afrobeat at a significant level around 1997, 1998, 1999 when what we now know as Afrobeat started. It was all hip hop. The influence was all hip hop. Everyone was rapping. Everyone was rapping from Tuaba to Face to Blackface to the Remedies, Tribesmen, Maintain. Everyone was rapping. Hip hop like influenced Afrobeat. Even that's why till now you see the way we dress. The way these artists dress. You see the way Davido dresses. Davido dresses like a rapper. He doesn't dress like a pop star. He doesn't dress like a Justin Bieber that is a pop star. He dresses more like a Drake. Yeah, the chains, the swag. It's very hip hop. Like the way they make music, the way Ashake carries himself. It's like a rapper, and not necessarily like a like a pop star, not necessarily like a Bruno Mars. So it's and when we look at this, we cannot say, okay, fine, maybe this whole beef stuff, this whole back and forth, this whole trying to say crazy things is hip hop related, right? Then I ask myself, okay, fine, if two of the biggest artists are fighting and we can draw a parallel to hip hop and say, okay, fine, after all, Kendrick and J. Cole, they are going at it and stuff like that. I ask myself, are we at the same level as hip hop? Like the ecosystem, are we as strong as the hip hop ecosystem there? Hip hop is what, 5 decades old, strong. The beat is very, very strong, and whatever this stuff is, whatever the beef that is going on, it translates into music and translates into numbers and translates into cultural impact. It goes into documentation and say, okay, at this point, 2 of the biggest rappers went at it. It's cultural. It's cultural to hip hop. I ask myself, what impact does this have on our culture? Like, what impact does it have in terms of further solidifying Afrobeat, both structurally and musically? Are we going to get like fire decent tracks of it? Are we going to get more international attention of it? Are we going to get more money and be able to build the ecosystem of it? I don't know. It seems like it's something that just starts and ends. It starts and ends on Twitter, and the entire benefit that accrues from it is just for the gratification of people who follow them and online consumers who can enjoy themselves as clownishly as they fancy. Because this person is treating this person called this person that, this person called this person this, and it's fun. And you see influencers in the comment section, right, gassing them up and saying this, and everybody's laughing, everybody's excited, like childlike excitement. That's where it ends. If Drake is beefing, can you like, man, we're going to talk about it, like it's going to. Maybe at the end of the year, we're going to talk about how it impacts the numbers, and the numbers are coming in. Euphoria already recorded the first day biggest stream for an hip hop rap record. Yeah, this year. What can we say the same about what's going on here? The only thing we can say is that he influenced some crop of young stars to want to also beef themselves, because it seems cool. So I like to look at it from that perspective. And I don't think Afrobeat is at the point where we need this much distractions. This many superstars, this many big artists poking holes, into the structure, into the foundation. This many artists saying, I don't want to, don't call me an Afrobeat artist, don't call me that. You're the face of the movement, fighting this and that. I don't think it just means well, or it offers a good look, for the whole ecosystem. And that's how I hope many people approach this subject. And not necessarily from perspective of, someone has to say his mind, they are humans, you don't pass judgment because you're not in their shoes. Okay, I'm not in their shoes, right? But that's why I have to hold them responsible. If I'm in their shoes, I hope you people also hold me responsible for my actions, because whatever I do reflects on the whole, reflects on the ecosystem, right? So the ecosystem is growing. Just recently saw UMG acquire Maven's majority stake of Maven's, huge money. And that's what you want to see. But it's not. We're not going to keep waiting and hoping that this is someone from outside that will just come and do everything. UMG are here to make good on their investment, and they will. They will. It's business, so we have to ask ourselves, to what extent would it actually influence the entire ecosystem, right? So we have to focus on things that matter. And I don't think I think there's a strong lack of cultural commitment to the movement from the people who should be the face of the movement, and that's troubling for me. And I think anyone who actually do care about the sustenance of this whole movement and what we are currently enjoying, I think they should also be concerned. They should also be bothered.
All right. So now that we've established all of these here, what do you think the way forward is?
I think personally, I think we need to focus on things that matters. Yeah, I know it's inevitable that someone big will say something and like for you not to care. Yeah, you would care. I mean, I know I cared when Donjazzy was called an influencer. It got to me. I didn't like it. I made a couple of tweets about it to make it clear that okay, this shouldn't be happening. I think this is what affects us as a whole movement. This is why we have like it's becoming a problematic lack of appreciation for history. There's nothing that is too sacred. There's no one of our progenitors that is too sacred, too big not to be slandered. You hold up P Square and you find any random artist and you compare them. You know, you cannot talk about Nice without finding a way to belittle his achievement. You know, there's no one that opened the way that paved the way. There's no one that actually contributed massively to this movement that is not beyond mockery and reproach, especially unnecessarily. And the reason why we see this is because even the stars themselves, they're kind of like supporting this, they're kind of like encouraging this behavior. When you call Donjazzy an influencer, what do you think your fans, what do you think the average fans who are easily influenced by your action, what do you think they would do? What do you think they would do? I mean, if there's someone that should be respected as a deity, as a god in the game, I mean, who else but Donjazzy? Whatever is Afrobeats right now, he contributed massively into conceptualizing it. That's probably the man that has done more things for the industry than anybody across 3 different generations of the game. Over 20 years. Right? And you just like make light work of his accomplishment, of his achievement, of everything he has done. And we have people who should know better coming here to, to try to contextualize it and try to just say the truth, man. They're not feeding you. Just say the truth. And so I feel like the issue we'll be having, these repeated issues that we get carried, like we get stuck in trying to like make a point and try to insist that okay, this person is relevant, this person deserves their flowers, is because we don't have a system where we appreciate those who have actually done a lot for us. And that's why we have to be having the conversation that did Idris Abdul Karim pave the way? Did anyone pave the way for anybody? And you have artists who, oh God, who you wouldn't be here if not for the effort of different people saying things that nobody paved the way for me. If you know Karim goes to you, like why? Why do you have to say that? Because it is popular. And when you say that, you support the narrative, and that gradually becomes what is popular in the industry. Recently I put out a tweet that Donjazzy is the greatest music producer in Nigeria. And if you see, like, it's fine that people disagree and people think there are other people who are big. It's fine. But if you look at the basis of the disagreement, if you look at how watered down the conversation is, it is pathetic. People are throwing down ridiculous names next to Donjazzy. Let me not call anyone names, but ridiculous. And be like, it's not as it's like because we don't have a strong appreciation for history. If you see more producers, people who they look up to themselves, come out and say, okay, this man, whatever we are today, whatever influence we are today is because of this man, then people who are obliged to want to hail them as, oh, they are the goats, they would be willing to recognize that, okay, this person already gave, his flowers to this person. It's just like me saying, I'm the goat, I'm this and that, and not really acknowledging what people before me have done. Then it makes whoever likes me and whoever think, okay, me, I'm better than everybody, it makes them be more obliged to disrespect those who have come before me. But if I say, okay, whatever I have today is because of the effort of those who have come before me, then you yourself, you are not obligated, you're not more obliged to disrespect them. So I think what we see in this industry now is problematic, and it's entrenched from the side of the artists themselves. They encourage and fan this deadly, this terrible, sad stand culture was saying. They fan it, they milk it, they use it to their advantage. So I think we need to demand more from these people. We need to also focus on things that matter. Like, I think, again, like, if one big artist says something, it's going to go crazy and everybody will be interested in it. But at the same time, I think, personally, I like to focus my energy and be more committed on those who are committed to the movement, those who support the movement, those who see Afrobeat as something bigger than them, and those who drum support for the Afrobeat movement. And that's why I'm happy with the next generation of artists. People like Belash Murder, Rema saying things like support the ecosystem, go the ecosystem. Like if you watch Bella's interview, it was so you could feel his pain and saying things like, why are you sliding Afrobeat? Go make what you want to make, but leave this thing alone. So that's the kind of sobriety you expect from those above them, those who were there 10 years before they came into the scene. But you're not getting it. Right? So and those who should be demanding these things from these people, they're scared because of relationship and because of access and stuff like that. So I think we need to demand more from those who are in the position to shape the narrative. Just one. Or two, we need to focus on those who are propelling the movement. Let's focus energy. Let's prop up those who are supporting, those who are like supporting the movement, those who are committed to the movement. Because right now, what we need is a cultural commitment to ourselves to grow and scale the ecosystem. And when we grow and scale the ecosystem, I think it's going to necessarily translate into our artists aging better. When an artist has been here for 10 years, 15 years, and he tried a lot, and it's kind of like in diminishing return, then you see just one random person online saying things like, who the hell is this person? What did you do? It begins to get to you because you feel like after everything I've done, this is what I get. Then you start ranting online, you start going through midlife crisis, and you start trying to prove your point. And that's why like 2 months ago we had this whole paved the way situation where groups from like 1999 and early 2000 were practically fighting each other, and they're taking sides and stuff like that. Because we do not care much for our history. When you build the ecosystem, these people will have things to fall to when they're done. When the structure is strong, when the structure is thriving, when the ecosystem is thriving, when you quote unquote retire or when you bow out from the mainstream, your streams can be still bringing money for you. We can't say the same for those who were here 10 years ago. You can still do tour the country, make money off your licensing, off your publishing, go on tour, do what veteran artists in the US, in the UK, and other parts of the world are doing. But we don't have it here because we don't have structure. And instead of us focusing on building structure, they're still poking holes into the movement and still like making light of our history. And that's why if you want to talk about an example of an artist aging gracefully, like in the current like crop of superstars, you talk about Olamide, and because he has things to do, he has a successful label to run, and he's an OG, it's a proper example of a graceful artist still using his own superstar, his own level, his own status as a superstar to influence and support the careers of other people. Prop them up, give them a verse, support them. And that's what you want to see. That's what you want to see. Not trading insults online and not doing things that just kind of like send a bad signal out to everybody. So I think we need to focus on the positive, and I think this is a call to everyone, but especially even the media houses, influencers, and everyone, like, balance it. Try to balance it out. Like, if someone says things that doesn't reflect well on the ecosystem, counter it. It's good to, I believe, I believe it's always good to counter the narratives. If someone goes out to say Afrobeat lacks substance, Afrobeat lacks depth, Afrobeat lacks soul, I think always counter the narrative, right? But if as you're countering the narrative, also try not to give too much spotlight on the things that don't matter. Let's balance it out. Let's give spotlight on the things that matter. Let's prop up the young stars, that are committed to the movement. They're going to be the future of the movement, and not focus on people who have enjoyed themselves and who have made all the money they want to make, and now they don't really care for what comes next. So I think this is a call for everyone. In as much as you're making money, in as much as you want to, tap into the traffic and give the consumers what they want, we need to find a balance. And we need to also build the ecosystem and hope that this artist, the older you get, the more reflective you become, and the more you see that the scene is changing, the more you accept that things are not the way they used to be, and find ways to evolve. And when you're evolving, don't do it in a way that harms the old. Don't make it about yourself alone. Don't think that whatever you see does not carry weight. I'm sure they know, and that's what even gives them the confidence to actually go out and do all the things they're doing. So I think essentially we need a cultural commitment to ourselves, and we need to focus on those who appear and who are interested to be committed to the culture and committed to the movement. Yeah, that's factually.